biggest way that we've built the business. I mean, when we first started the salon, there wasn't really even any social media. So I don't think that is as significant for us as word of mouth is. If you do an awesome treatment and you connect with your client, you're going to get them to invite someone else to come, or get a gift card, or buy a gift in your salon that gets someone to pay attention to what you're doing. How do you manage stress that work brings into your life? For me, stress relievers are really just about taking care of myself. So I enjoy hot yoga. I do that almost every night I had been doing that every night with my husband before coming home from work, just because that burns everything out of you. It really relaxes me, and it's good for my back. I don't know about any other estheticians, but I've struggled with back issues just because a lot of my day is spent hunched over somebody. So that exercise, I have a Peloton bike. I love that. I love going to the gym, and honestly, hanging out with my kids. I love playing Barbies with my daughter. What takes most of your time every day? That's a good question. I would say probably I spend most of my day, half of my day is doing facials and the other half is being an executive. So I do interviews. I'm doing some management. Sorry, you guys, my dog really wants me to take her out for a walk, so she's barking at me. I do a lot of interviews, a lot of talking to the estheticians. One thing that I love about my business is that the estheticians and I really enjoy a lively discussion about what's going on with their clients. So throughout the day, estheticians will come upstairs and talk to me about a client they just had, or they'll put someone in the room and just based off of the intake form, they'll have questions, or they want to hear my opinion about the best way to treat the client. So that takes a lot of time, but it's a pleasure, you know. How many employees do you have, and what are their specialties? Okay. So then it says, please provide a total number of employees and number of each type of employee. So I have close to 70 employees right now in both New York and LA. In New York, I think I have 26 estheticians. I have, I think, 7 or 8 reception, so front desk staff, and then I have about 6 people who answer the phones and do email that sit upstairs. I have 3 people who do social media. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 executives. And then in LA we have, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 facial rooms and 1 massage room. So in New York I have 2 massage therapists. In LA I have 2 massage therapists. And in LA we have 6 estheticians, I think. So that gives you an idea of how large the company is. What is your hiring process? So for estheticians, I will say that we tend to not hire people straight out of school. We usually expect a minimum of 3 years experience. There have been a few exceptions to that, but the person has to be incredibly exceptional, because so much goes into training somebody, and really there's no amount of training that can make up for just doing facials, and a lot of them. I know that when I graduated from aesthetic school, I didn't feel as competent as I could have felt or wanted to feel, and it really took time in the room and just doing facials and getting used to it and seeing different skin types and different skin tones, and experiencing different things. So it takes a while for that. So we expect that. We interview people on average about 3 times. My operations manager interviews them. My general manager interviews them. A variety of people will have a look at different people to see who's going to fit in. And we really focus on hiring for sweetness. You can't teach someone to be nice if it's not in them. And so I really look for that when building the team, and people who are really hungry to learn. I think for me, I feel really strongly that people should be learning all the time. I don't know about you guys, but I focus on my own building up of my own knowledge as much as I can to this day. There's never been a point in my career where I thought like, oh, I don't need to learn anymore. I'm all set. I like to read things about business. I look at magazines all the time. I read articles all the time. And I also look at a lot of scientific studies about ingredients, about treatments, just so that I feel like I'm doing a good enough job. So we focus a lot on training at my salon. And really once you get hired, you're not really hired. You go through the training process, and after each step of the training, we really examine whether this person is going to fit in, and you advance only when we think that it's going well, you're learning well, you're retaining information, you're studying at home. I'm not a huge fan of people wasting everybody's time or expecting us to spoon feed all the information to you. There's a lot of reading that goes into it, and I think we have a very rigorous training program, but it's paid off for me. I think you could come to my salon and see me or any one of my estheticians, and you'll have a really good service. How do you select the people that are going to be working with you? I really select them, like I said, based on sweetness, based on competency. You have to know how to extract. I don't teach that because it takes too long, and I've tried to teach it in the past, but I really do think experience is necessary to be good at extraction. I don't think that that's a skill that you acquire just from doing one facial. So I look for that, and I look for somebody who really is passionate about what they do. I want to get a facial from somebody who's really into it and really passionate about their work, because that's how I feel about it, and really, like all of my clients, all the celebrities that you hear that I do, they see my entire team, because that's how good my team is. How do you evaluate employees? How often do you evaluate them, and what makes an employee stand out from the rest? So I think when I was starting out as an esthetician, I didn't know ever if I was doing well or doing poorly. I never knew if anybody rebooked with me. Nobody ever told me if they bought the products I recommended. I was really in the dark. And that's just not how those businesses were run. So when I created the salon with my husband, I felt like as an esthetician, it would be really grounding for me to know who rebooked and who didn't, who bought products that I recommended and who didn't, who bought a package of services and who didn't. And all of those things are kind of looked at regularly, not to judge anybody, but to help them. If you are an esthetician and you're having trouble getting people to buy product from you, then what could I help you with that would make somebody turn into a client who trusted you unconditionally? It's not just because I'm Joanna Vargas that people buy product from me, because nobody cares about that. When I'm giving a facial, it's like the last thing that people are thinking about. People really want somebody who's dialed into their concerns, who has heard what they're using currently and is ready to fit in recommendations based on that, as opposed to like, you need to throw everything away and start from scratch. I was never a big fan of estheticians who made me feel bad about myself. You know, when I started in aesthetics, it was a lot of like, you know, I heard a lot that my skin was terrible or that the products I was using were terrible. And my skin, obviously I was younger, so it probably wasn't fantastic, but I never had acne. There's just really no reason to say that to anybody, right? So I really focus on empowering my estheticians to speak well towards their clients and really boost them up. They're coming to us for a service and to feel better about themselves, not worse. And so we really focus on things like that. So that's how I evaluate people, based on real statistics. And it's not so that I can fire them, it's so that I can help them be better at what they do. And I think everybody that's worked for me, no matter how long they've worked for me for, is a better esthetician for it, because they know that it has nothing to do with, oh, no one buys products on Sundays, or I had good luck that day. You can really boil down what you did well and what you didn't do well, and it honestly has to do with how well you speak to people. Are you able to explain the treatment properly? Were you understood? Did you make sure someone understood you? Did you make them understand why you're recommending one product over another product, or why they should buy this one serum from you? All of those things are really important things to kind of boil down for yourself. And then you can really get clients. Sorry, you guys. Sorry, my dogs. You can really, I think when I became an esthetician, my dream was to be an esthetician that had a book full of regular clients who listened to everything that I said, that did all the treatments that I wanted them to do, and really followed me, and that I wanted to be that expert for people. And the way to get that is being able to explain things properly so people can understand them and make a good decision for themselves. Let's see. How do you train your staff? So I have two types of estheticians in my salon: master estheticians and senior estheticians. The masters have been estheticians for a lot longer of a time. They have usually been estheticians for about 10 years. They have mastered different disciplines within the aesthetics world. For example, many of them are medical estheticians. One woman who works for me in New York, Anastasia, really through just the types of clients she was getting, she became a real expert on autoimmune issues, skin sensitivities, things, but not regular ones like, oh, I'm allergic to nuts, like really far out sensitivities that she really had these people coming in. That we had one client who was allergic to everything except for water practically. And so Anastasia had to learn how to do a facial on a client like that. So just have some major skills. So the masters are the ones who train. They each have like one treatment that they focus on for training. And then when the trainee graduates from that and gets tested on that, they graduate to the next master with the next skill. And we kind of go through the menu like that. Where did you learn cosmetic ingredients? So there was no like internet back when I started, so I had to buy books. I studied things about kind of everything. I went to Barnes & Noble a lot. I attended a lot of classes at the Dermal Institute. I just tried to advance my knowledge any way possible. For me, a good resource is Paula's Choice, because the dictionary of ingredients is so great and so helpful. But, you should just Google things and learn about them and see if there's a scientific study that backs up. A lot of times I don't read so much about ingredients from magazines as I do from scientific papers. How do you keep your employees happy / incentivized? I try, culture is really important to me. As a boss, we do a lot of fun things for my staff. Like we always have parties, we have games and contests, like in summer, just because summer can be a little bit less busy. Everybody's at the beach on weekends and stuff. I usually do contests with the desk girls and then with the estheticians. So it usually has to do with their stats, like rebookings or, package sales or something like that. Like one year we did a contest for a trip for two people to Miami, airfare and hotel. For fall to Christmas, we usually do a contest that's either a gift certificate for shopping at like Bloomingdale's, or I like shoes a lot, so like we'll do a contest for a pair of Louboutins or something. I try to keep it like fun, and it is a very lively contest usually, and people love that. We do parties a few times a year, and I think that everybody likes, we pay commission on everything, so I think people feel valued for what they've contributed. Let's see. Where is the retail area located, and what is its surface area compared to the rest of the spa, and why? So my salon has a retail area right in the front near the front desk. It is not, even though my salon is, I think, 15,000 square feet total, which is very big, the retail area is not huge, just because I wanted the clients to feel not like they were walking into a store, but that they were coming to my living room to hang out with their friends and have an incredible time. Obviously, retail sales is an important part of being an esthetician, because if somebody comes in for a facial and has skin concerns, you want to offer an at-home routine that's really going to boost the efficacy of the facial and make it last longer. You want your clients to reach their goals for their skin as well, so you want them to use products at home. But we have like a few shelves of retail space, and then the rest of it is like couches and artwork, and it's more of a chill environment. Let's see. How do you keep your clients loyal and consistent? Well, it goes back to what I said originally when my husband and I first opened the salon. Our main focus, I was the only esthetician working, so I will say my main focus was giving treatments that were so good people had to tell their friends. The phone wasn't ringing. Nobody knew I was in an office building. Nobody knew I was in there. And, there was no social media or anything really. So we were just in this office, and I wanted it to be so special when you came in, and so different from any other experience that you had to tell somebody about it. And so, sorry, dog, barking at my children for not taking her outside with them. So that's really how I started out. The estheticians write thank you notes at the end of every service, which is really popular. We make notes on everybody's skin. in the computer. So if you saw one esthetician one month and then another person the next month, you'll always have that esthetician has read up on your skin and knows what to do. Clients really trust you if you talk well with them, meaning if you really explain what you're doing, you're not bossy, you don't talk down to them, and you really take your time. And if you feel confident in what you're recommending, they will be able to read that and they automatically feel confident. And that's really been the way I built the business. What incentives do you offer to your clients to be sure they'll come back again? So we do package sales of treatments, which if you buy a package, then it's you save money on them. And we do bundles as well. And that inspires a lot of loyalty. We do like birthday specials, different stuff like that. That is not in an area that we've really had trouble with because the clients in New York are so into it. They're so loyal and they find a place where they love and they will just keep on coming back. What are the most important lessons you have learned from failures or challenges that you can share with others in your career path? I would say that there have been challenges throughout. I thought just because I had a website, people would buy products. I thought once you made a website, you didn't have to remake it or do anything again. I would say that you just have to keep on educating yourself. Try not to be disheartened by failures and try to take away a lesson from it. I'm trying to think of anything that was like a massive failure. I would say the biggest challenge really was getting noticed in a field where there was, in New York at the time that we opened, there were so many salons and spas that had been opened with like millions of dollars. And my husband and I started our salon on credit cards. So it was not, I made it beautiful. It was not opulent. And, I just, again, tried to focus on word of mouth and nothing else. And I would say I have made a lot of friends with people in fields that are not the same as mine, but maybe similar, like fashion, hair people, makeup people. Those people have helped support me so much. They've been great friends to me. All my fashion friends really understand me as a founder, I think, and that's been nice to have those relationships with people who were in similar circumstances. And, I have a lot of great friends in the industry, in the beauty world. I'm friends with a lot of different estheticians that are, really good friends of mine that have really been there for me, or just reach out and text me and say hi. Renee Rouleau is one of those people. I adore her. I'm friends with Caroline Hirons. She's been a great friend to me. Celeste Rodriguez is a favorite of mine in LA. Just different people that I admire a great deal. Do you mentor estheticians? I'm starting out in Chicago. I always answer questions on DM. I don't really have a lot of time to fully mentor anybody, but I'm happy. I always answer my own questions if you DM me. I'm at Joanna Vargas NYC. I'll actually put that as a tag on this post so you guys can see my Insta. Let's see. Posting it, and I will tag it. I will pin it rather. There you go. That's my handle. So you can ask me questions. I answer everybody. I just don't, I don't have time to really guide you as fully as I would want, as a mentor should, but I'll do everything I can to help you. There are so many lines to choose from today. What are some lines besides yours that you recommend? It kind of depends on clientele and stuff. I like Eminence. I like CV Skin Labs. Was created by a friend of mine, Brita Argon, who's a cancer survivor. I love that line because it's made for people with extremely sensitive skin. It's got lots of turmeric in it. It doesn't have any perfumes in it. I love Jordan Samuel. He's one of my esthetician besties. His line of products is really awesome and very reasonably priced. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. What else? MD Solar Sciences is a great sunblock line that I love. Yeah. What advice could you give someone who would like to manage a spa? Who would like to manage a spa? I would say, the big thing about management is that if someone does something wrong, you have to make sure that you learn from it as the boss and they learn from it. I have done wrong things in my coming up in the industry, and yelling at someone really doesn't do anything except freak them out. And then they have to go back and do more facials, and it's just not going to end well for you as a manager. And so I really try to take people under my wing and try to figure out, okay, we did a boo-boo. What could we do to fix this? First of all, for the client, and then second of all, for the esthetician. My management style is to stay calm, focus on learning something, and if I have failed to teach somebody something, then that's on me too, not just on them. You know what I mean? I try to learn as much as I can from what's going on, and I try to take responsibility as best I can for every situation. That's the best thing I can advise. Okay, Carol Castro Skincare is having a live with Narita Joy tomorrow, and she wants everyone to know about it. So Carol Castro Skincare and Narita Joy are doing a live. So there, I announced it for you. Okay, Carol? Let's see. What? Okay. So, accountability is so important to good management. Yeah, for sure. I think what makes me a good boss is that I'm an esthetician, and I've worked in the industry for many years before I became a boss. So I really have, I've been there in every way possible. Do you have favorite equipment that you use in the treatment room? From Jill Cass-Meyer. So favorite equipment, what do you mean, like for like steamers and stuff, or do you want like specialized equipment? For me, like I would say, if you're looking to buy a technology, I love LED light. It's worth every penny. Get a good one. Don't go cheap on that. But if you're going to add it onto your menu, make sure you understand the science of it so you can explain it to clients. I think that estheticians, when they see the price tag on certain pieces of equipment, it's scary. I remember when my husband and I bought our first LED machine, we couldn't afford really to make a mistake. We had no money. We were still not caught up, like paying back everything that we had charged on our cards, but I understood the technology and I knew that I could tell clients about it, and my business exploded from that. Which LED brands do you like? Is a more expensive piece always better? No, not always better. There are some at-home devices that are really expensive that I don't like, but I'm not going to call them out because I don't do that. But I will say I like Baby Quasar is a good home one. Professionally, I work with Lightwave, which I just think that they're the best. But honestly, please, I beg of all of you, don't just buy something because I said so. Look at it for yourself. Look at what kind of clients you have. Look at it from the perspective of a business owner that you're going to be stuck with it, not me. And how do I put this? I could tell you every brand of everything that I use, but if you can't explain it, if you can't do the treatments well, or if you don't have those kinds of clients that can afford it, then it won't be good for you. And I don't want to put you in that position. So it's something that I stay away from, like doing a lot of brands names. Do I do Hydra Facial? I do a version of Hydra Facial. I have microdermabrasion. I have a diamond peel in my office, but we also have a aqua peel machine. That's not the Hydra Facial machine. It's something newer. I've never tried the Hydra Facial machine myself, but I just liked this one a lot. It infuses nutrients into the skin. It's a great peel, and I just love it. I can use it even on people with really bad rosacea. Got to research that return on investment and product knowledge. Yeah, for sure. What is the hype about hydrofacials? What's an aqua peel? It's just like, okay, so exfoliation, that you can adjust the suction to people's skin type, right? And it's shooting a liquid at the surface of the skin and taking away like the waste that's coming off. But when it's shooting the liquid into the skin, it's infusing the skin with hydration. And I know that sounds weird, but it really does. When I do red carpets in January and February, like for Oscars and Golden Globes and all of that stuff, everybody's skin is so sensitized because they're so dry. The skin is a mess, and you cannot do microdermabrasion on people's skin. You'll tear the skin. So I do the aqua peel thing on them, and it's amazing. It's really amazing. Let's see. Yeah, so I have both in my office. I have LED, the face panels, and then my husband and I patented an LED bed. It's a front and back. It's not like the light stem. It's not a platform. It's like, it looks like a tanning bed, and it closes like a shell. And you get in naked and do your whole body, and that thing is running night and day at my salon. Night and day. Very expensive to develop, but a worthy investment. And again, you have to have the space for it. It's huge. Let's see, what else? I'm just flipping through your questions. Other things that I have in my treatment rooms, I have Radiofrequency. That you have to have a good one, but there are laws in different states about that. So you have to check the laws in your state, because some states are funny about radio frequency. I have microcurrent. I have cryotherapy for the face, which I love. I do oxygen treatments at the end of every service just because I don't like to upsell in the facial. I want people to be able to relax while they're having a facial. And again, remember what I said about wanting to make the facial so good that people told their friends. So no selling during facials, no upselling rather. And I loaded the facial with lots of different stuff. How do you determine your pricing for services? So I would say I would look at comps in your city or town. In other words, like, what are other places charging? I would really look at what you're doing during the treatment. Like, I don't upsell for microdermabrasion and oxygen. Those come with it. So when I do microcurrent, for example, so that facial is priced accordingly because you get a lot of stuff. What do you recommend instead of microneedling? I'm in Cali and the laws are strict. The laws are really strict in California. Instead of microneedling, exfoliations, peels and stuff, I would focus on that. I think that those, I'm licensed in California as well, but I don't live there. And so, before I introduce menu items to California, I have to go through the website all over again because I'm so used to the laws in New York. So I would focus on peels there, body treatments. When do you choose radiofrequency over microcurrent? Well, they do very different things. That's a great question. Microcurrent is depuffing, lifting, contouring, and radiofrequency does two things. It pushes back together your collagen fibers because they spread as we get older, and it stimulates collagen production. And normally you do radiofrequency once a week for 8 weeks, and then you do it. We intersperse that with microcurrent as like an ongoing thing with clients on a monthly basis. So it just depends on what your client, what the goals are of the client, what they're looking to have done. Even if they're younger, like even if they're 30 years old, you could still do radiofrequency on their face, but I wouldn't do like, once a week for 8 weeks. That's more for somebody who's older. But I would work it in with microcurrent, like maybe alternate. What radiofrequency do you use in your salons? So again, I am going to stress this point. Please don't buy something just because I said I use it. It has nothing to do with it. I'm serious. I know you don't believe me, but it has to do with the fact that the amount of training we got on it, how well you understand it, how well you can do the treatment, how uniform you can make the treatments. So basically when I introduced radiofrequency to the salon in New York, I auditioned like 8 companies. They came to my salon and gave me the treatment. I don't know how else to buy radiofrequency other than experiencing it. You have to experience it for yourself. I have the gift of being older than everybody who works for me. I'm 49 years old. So if I don't see a difference in my skin, I'm not going to buy it. And I highly recommend that you have them audition. So that's the first thing. Don't just get something because I said so, because it's just my opinion, and everybody has one, and I don't know your clients. I don't know how much you can charge, and all of these things go into how you shop for equipment. So to answer your question, I use One Bite in Mode is the name of the company, but I have a medical director in New York. So, and you need one for that one. What do you and your estheticians wear for treatment? Scrubs. So I have been an esthetician now for over 20 years. And I have worked for all different types of places that had all different types of uniforms. All white, black and white, scrubs, lab coats, whatever. I hated wearing a uniform by the end. My last uniform that I wore for 6 years was all white. Imagine wearing all white every day and how hard it is not to drop masks on your lap at the beginning of your workday. It's like impossible. Anyway, so I don't have a uniform. I like professional dress. I tell my girls, I don't mind personal style. We are in New York. Keep that in mind, New York and Los Angeles, where funkiness is more encouraged and embraced. No lab coats, no uniform. I don't want to see anybody's underwear or body parts. I don't like a lot of tattoos showing, even though I have tattoos. My wings. I have tattoos, but I don't like to scare people, so I tell people to dress like how they would dress if they were going to go see their grandma or meet their significant other's parents for the first time. But, I allow nose rings and different colored hair and all sorts of stuff. Your disclaimer, and I think clients like it too. Clients love everybody's personal style and they want to get to know you. You guys know that. You want to connect with your clients, and I think they feel more comfortable if you don't look like a fembot. Okay, your disclaimer is so valuable. Thank you for this. There's no standard cure all magic product. That's so true. And I just want to communicate that to you guys. Just because I do it, that's not what made me successful. I'm telling you that right now. It wasn't a machine. It really wasn't. What's the best way to select a product line to use on clients? Look at your clients. What are the majority of your clients coming to you for? And select a product line that shows real results and that you can sell it. I don't like product lines that have a lot of steps, like 8,000 steps, because clients have a tendency not to enjoy it when you lay out 1,000 products when you first meet them. So I look for that. I like smells, a certain type of smell. A lot of clients will tell me, when I was first starting out and before I had my product line, I would get returns on certain products because their significant other didn't like the smell of the product on their face at night at bedtime. So that's significant. Is it going to play well with other product? Those kinds of things is how I would select. How do you like to end a facial? So every facial in my salons end with oxygen. I do oxygen and I make a serum that I infuse with the oxygen. That's green tea, vitamins, aloe. It's a JV product. So every facial ends that way. And then once they're changed and done, we talk about products and recommendations in private before we leave my room and go to the front desk. So at the front desk, I just pull product. While they're changing, I tell the receptionist what the plan is. And so the receptionist is aware of what I've recommended. So it's not like everybody's in the dark. And I like some discretion. I don't think it's nice to go out to the front desk and be like, Susie said that she's really aging fast and wants to do anti-aging facials. I think that's rude, What brands of peels do you use for yourself and in the treatment rooms? So in the treatment rooms, I have a couple of professional brands that I just started working with. We do have some Eminence products and Eminence peels because those are popular. But I just started converting all the professional masks to a new company. And I'm sorry, I forget the name of it. It's... I forget the name. I'm sorry. I know that was a useless answer. Sorry, guys. We're going to get cut off soon, you guys. Do you have any other questions? And plus, my daughter is waiting for me to play Barbies. The Barbies are going to have a pool party today, so I have to join them for that. Does anybody have any other questions before I take off? That's Ruby, my 7-year-old. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. It was really, really fun hanging out with you. Thank you so much for all the questions. If you guys have any other questions or any other ideas of lives you want me to do, you can find me. I'm at Joanna Vargas NYC. My skincare line is at JV Skincare. I'm really happy to share everything with you and anything I can do to help. I'm delighted to share any of my knowledge with you. It's really important to me, to help you be successful. I think that I didn't realize how hard being an esthetician would be, or how hard it would be to create your own salon. So anything I can do to help you or just be there for you, I just want you to know I believe in you, and I know you guys can do it. And I will see you soon. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Bye.